Okay, one more video for 2018. This time, I'm going to have a look at some mounts. Going to use these here, which I got from a V8. I think it was a Land Rover Discovery or Defender or something or other. It's a 4.8 litre or something or other Land Rover. They're a lot smaller, as you can see, than the VT Commodore. Overall, they're kind of a very similar size if you take out the top hat and the bottom hat. Not going to be using those, so I'm going to make up some new mounts as well. So in here, I've just got a couple of bits of plate steel at the stage, and the plan is to bracket and fabricate something to come off that down to here on a flat. That'll sit there, and then I'll have some sort of a flat plate that sits on in there. And the reason I went that way to these is because the overall diameter of the Commodore, I have pistol room to the power steering line. That's going to replicate my steering column. So the big Commodore one, it was never going to fit in here because of the sheer diameter of it. So this smaller one can sit in here, in by that plate, some sort of an L bracket, even way down here, with some sort of an L bracket back onto this subframe from the C4. So yeah, they're like 50 bucks each, so they'll do the job. We'll get in over Christmas and fabricate the rest of those brackets. I have done the gearbox one. At this stage, I'm going to try and crawl under the car. I'll pause this and come back in a sec. Hang on. Oh, I might as well show you first. But that way. Basically, I found a couple of bolt holes on the chassis rail for the truck. So I made up some L brackets, and one left, one right. Found a piece of box section, through there, had it all welded, and then just a flat piece for the gearbox to belt onto. So give me a sec to get into the truck and we'll show you what I mean. Okay, so here we are, kind of under the truck. As you can see, this is my chassis rail going towards the rear of the vehicle down there. Somewhere over there's my diff. There's a couple of holes just here. They bolt up into there. They're just sitting there finger tight at the moment. A piece of pipe goes across to the original VT Commodore gearbox mount, which I'm still running in here, onto the flat plate, and then across to the other side. And I haven't got to the bolts, they're just there, but that'll bolt up into there. So it was quite simple doing it this way. It also cleared the brake booster, which is over there. So you can see that's the pipe, and it just clears all the brake booster and all the lines for the brake piping. So it worked out quite nicely. Also, if the gearbox mount fails or this breaks off, the gearbox itself will now fall onto this cross member, which is held in by 4 nice big bolts over here on the chassis rails. So the gearbox will make a hell of a noise, but at least it's not going to go anywhere. So that should keep Mr. Certifier happy, I hope. Oh, sorry, you're looking at my hand. So yeah, and that also lined everything up for the output shaft on the drive shaft down to the diff housing. We're within about a degree on the angle as it sits now, so I can probably just put a shim or a spacer underneath the diff to straighten it out. And the only other thing I can show you, pause again. So the only other thing I can show you is the brake pipes that I found. I found those on some sort of a Mitsubishi Galant, I think it was, or a Sigma or something stupid. So I'll be able to run my fuel line, return to this side, I think it was, through the hole in the chassis rail back here, along, make it pair up, and then run down these ones that I've got over here. Those are all just sitting here at the moment, but they're just going to bolt through the chassis rail where each of those little green tapes are. So that'll give me a half dozen good connectors to be able to run my fuel lines, feed and return, as well as my brake lines, which you can see there. So yeah, that's probably the last update for 2018. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, we'll see you all 2019.